Students in senior secondary schools, you are welcome to this session of our online audiovisual preparatory class. Now, in this online class, we are focusing on the solution to WAEC past questions. Now, we are focusing on year 2015 WAEC past questions. Now, for students that are here, please tell your friends, those that are benefiting from this class, tell your friends to also participate in it. Now, let's proceed. We are going to solve question number 1A, but in the course of the solution, if there is anything that you will not understand, you send your question to me through WhatsApp on my WhatsApp number 0806-802-5451, and we will respond to your question and provide immediate solution to it. Now let's move on. We are on question 1A. Question 1A says, without using mathematical tables or calculators, simplify 3 whole number 4/9 divided by into bracket 5 whole number 1/3. I hope you can see that. Minus 2 whole number 3/4 plus 5 whole number 9/10. That is what we have to solve. Now let's go to the solution area, the solution page, and see what we can have there. We now have the solution. That's the question. To simplify this expression, first thing, you must remember your rule of BODMAS. Your rule of BODMAS. BODMAS is BODMAS. What is the meaning of each of these letters? B represents brackets, meaning if you see bracket in the expression, you have to simplify bracket first, all its content. Next is of. Then after that, you move to division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Now let's move on. The first thing to do here is to change every mixed fraction to improper fraction. You have all these mixed fractions here. Now this simple formula on how to convert mixed fraction to improper fraction is by multiplying the denominator. You have the formula denominator times whole number plus numerator. Like this, for example, you have 3 whole number 4/9. How do we convert that to improper fraction? We have 9 times 3, which is 27, plus 4, which is 31, all over 9. You have 31/9. That's how to change it. So you follow the same understanding on the rest. We now have a 31/9 divided by 5 whole number 1/3 becomes 16/3 minus 2 whole number 3/4 becomes 11/4 there. Now the next 5 whole number 9/10 becomes 59/10. How? You have 10 times 5 is 50 plus 9, you have 59 all over 10. That's the first thing to do. You change every mixed fraction to improper fraction. Now to start to solve this problem, you follow the rule of BODMAS. Now you have to focus on the bracket and all that you have in the bracket. We have 16/3 minus 11/4. Now, to simplify that in the bracket, anytime you have plus or minus sign in between 2 brackets, you have to find the LCM of the denominators. And the denominators here are 3 and 4. So LCM of 3 and 4 gives us 12. We now move to the next solution. We have LCM of 3 and 4. You roll a line, you have 12 there. You now say 12 divided by 3 that you have here. What do you have? You have 4. 4 times 16 is what? You have 64 there. Next, you have 12 divided by 4 is what? 3. 3 times 11 here is 33. That's what you have there. Now moving on, we subtract 33 from 64 here. What do we have? We have 31 all over 12. You still bring down 31 over 9 and 59 over 10 because we are not doing anything with division and addition signs yet. We are still focusing on the bracket. So we have now simplified the bracket to 31 over 12. The next rule in board mass is off. There is no off here. So we skip off. We go to the next one, which is division. We have division here. So you're going to focus on the division and simplify that. You can see it here. You bracket, you mark out the ones that have division and simplify that. How do we do that? You change division sign to multiplication sign and invert this 31 over 12. That's going to be 12 over 31. Now let's move on. You have 31 over 9 times 12 over 31. You still bring down this 59 over 10 there. Now simplifying that, you have 31 cancels 31. 3 cancels 9, you have 3 times. 3 cancels 12, you have 4. Now what is left in all that bracket is 4 over 3. You now have it here, equals to 4 over 3 plus 59 over 10. Now moving on there, we have to simplify the addition now, which is the last thing that we have there. To add these two fractions, we find the LCM of the denominator, which is 3 and 10. You multiply 3 and 10, you have 30. You have 30 divided by 3 here is 10. 10 times 4 is 40 that you have there. Next, you have 30 divided by 10 is 3. 3 times 59 is 177. Then you add the numerators. 40 plus 177 is 217 divided by 3. You can change that to mixed fraction again. You divide 30 divides 217. You have 7 whole number, remainder 7 over 30. That is your solution for question 1A. In case you have any question, please you let me know. You send your question to the WhatsApp number that I read. Now let's move to question 1B. Question 1B says, solve. Okay, it says a number is selected at random from each of the sets. You have 2, 3, 4 in the first set and 1, 3, 5 there. He has to find the probability that the sum of the two numbers is greater than 3 and less than 7. Now let's go to the solution area. You now look at this. You can see that you have the numbers there. Now that's the table that you can see there. The numbers in the set, you have the first one, 1, 3, and 5. You're going to add each of them with 2, 3, and 4. Now how do we do? To get these 3 here, you add 2 plus 1. You have 3. To get this 5, you add 2 plus 3, you have it. To get 7, you add 2 plus 5, you have 7. That's how you do. To get this 6, you add 3 plus 3, you have 6. Now to get 8, you add 3 plus 5, you have 8. Now to get this 9, you add 4 plus 5, you have 9. That is how we got all these values on this table. Now these values are the sum of these two number sets. Now we are asked that to find the probability of the sum of two numbers which is greater than 3 and less than 7. Now let's look at amongst these numbers that you have here, amongst these outcomes that you have here, how many numbers there are greater than 3 and less than 7? We have 5 as greater than 3 but less than 7. 4 as greater than 3 but less than 7. We have 5 also. We have 6 also. So total of those numbers are what? 4. So we have here required outcome. What we are asked to do to find in the probability is that is sum of numbers greater than 3 and less than 7 equals to 4. You can see there equals to 4. Now you have the 4 there. Now we move on. Now total possible outcome is you count. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 possible outcome. Now what's the formula for probability? Probability is equals to number of required outcome all over number of total possible outcomes. What's the required outcome? We have 4. And what's the total outcome? We have 9. So you have 4 over 9. And that is a simple solution to that. You now have, therefore, probability of the sum of two numbers greater than 3 and less than 7 is equals to 4 over 9. That is very simple. We now move on to solution 2. You go to the equation for question 2. We ask to solve the inequality. You can see the equation for inequality there. You have 4 plus 3 over 4 into bracket x plus 2 less than or equal to 3 over 8 x plus 1. That is the equation that you have there. Now let's see how we can solve that inequality. You go to the solution page for question 2a. You can see that. Now let's see how we can solve that. Now we have 4 plus 3 over 4 into bracket x plus 2 less than or equal to 3 over 8x plus 1. The first thing to do here is to multiply each term by the LCM of the denominators on the fractions that you have in the equations. We have fractions 3 over 4 and 3 over 8. Now the LCM of those fractions are 4 and 8. What's the LCM of 4 and 8? It is 8. How do we get that? By the time you find the LCM of 4 and 8, you have 4 here, you have 8. What can cancel it? 2 goes here, 2 and 4. 2 goes here is what? 1 and 2. And 2 goes again, you have 1 and 1. LCM is what? 2 times 2 times 2, which is what? 8. So you have your LCM there as 8. Now what do? We multiply each of the terms. We have 4 as a term. We also have 3 over 4 into bracket x plus 2 as a term. We have 3 over 8x as a term and 1 as a term. So you multiply each of these terms by 8. Now we have 8 times 4 plus 8 times 3 over 4 into bracket x plus 2 less than or equals to 8 times 3 over 8x plus 8 times 1. That is what you have there. Now 8 times 4 is what? We have 32. Plus we have here 4 can cancel this 8. You have 2. 2 times 3 that is here, you have this 6. I hope you can see that. You have 6 into bracket x plus 2. Now we bring down less than or equal to sign. Here 8 can cancel 8. What do you have? You can see there the 2 8 cancel themselves. You know 8 into bracket 3 over 8. This 8 is assumed to be over 1. This is numerator and this is denominator. They can go. What is left there? 3x. You can see there. So 3x is left here. You have 3x there. Now next is 8 times 1 is 8. You now move on to the next one. You now have, let's open up this bracket. We have 32 plus 6 times x is 6x plus 6 times 2 is 12 less than or equals to 3x plus 8. What's the next thing? You collect like terms. Collect like terms means you move every term that has unknown x to the left and move whole numbers to the right. We now have 6x minus 3x. You know, when this 3x that is on the right hand side of this inequality crosses this inequality sign to the left hand side, the positive sign there will become this negative sign that you have there. I hope you understand. You now have 6x minus 3x less than or equals to 8 is already here on the right hand side. You have positive 8. Now 32 plus 12 is what? 44. You move 44 to the right hand side, it becomes this minus 44. I hope you can see that. 44 days, 32 plus 12, you have 44. Now you have 6x minus 3x is 3x less than or equals to x minus 44 is minus 36. You divide both sides by 3 and you have your x as less than or equals to 12. That's your answer there. I hope you understand that. If you don't really understand it, you can replay the audio again and again and the solution will stick in your head. Now let's get to solution 2b. Question 2b. Now look at this question very well. You are given a shape, a figure there. You are asked that the diagram shows a rectangle PQRS from which a square of side x cm has been cut. If the area of the shaded portion is this part that you can see here, all this part that is shaded, if the area of the shaded portion is 484 cm square, find the value of x. It is simple. Now let's go to the solution page and see how we can solve that. I hope you can see that. That is the figure there again. You have take a look at the figure. It is not that difficult to understand. So a square is cut out of this figure. You know, a square has all the sides as equal. You have x and x. But the area of rectangle PQRS is what? Length times breadth. What is the length there? 20 plus x. What's the breadth? 20 cm. So you have length times breadth, that is 20 times 20 plus x. That's what you can see here. When you multiply that, you have 20 into bracket 20 plus x. Now the next one is area of the square, which is what? As you can see here, area of a square is x times x, which is what? You have x squared. Now the next one is area of shaded portion, which is already given in the equation, is 484 cm squared. Now to solve the problem, we now say therefore area of the shaded portion can be gotten by total area of the rectangle minus area of the square that is cut out. Now, by the time you subtract the area of this square from the total area of this rectangle, you're going to have the area of the shaded portion. I hope you can see that. So the formula is area of shaded portion is equals to area of rectangle PQRS minus area of square. Now, what is area of the shaded portion is 484 that was given, equal to area of rectangle PQRS here is 20 times 20 plus x minus area of square is x squared. Now you simplify that, you now have 484 equals to 20 times 20 here, you have 400 plus 20 times x here, you have 20x minus x squared. Moving on, you have, now let's collect like terms. You move every letter, you move x to the left hand side and you move numbers to the right hand side. That is collecting like terms. Now this minus x square on the right hand side, when it is moved to the left hand side here, the minus sign will become positive sign. Anytime a sign crosses equal to sign or inequality sign, the sign must change once it gets to another side, either from the left hand side to the right hand side or from the right hand side to the left. Now I want you to note that this minus that is attached to x squared is with x squared. Anyway you take x squared to, you must carry with the sign. But if it is crossing equal to sign, the sign must change. Now we have here, we have x squared. Now this is plus 20x. Once it crosses this equal to sign to the left hand side, it becomes minus 20x. Now moving on there, we have equal to 400 is already here on the right hand side. Now when you move 484 to the right, it's positive here on the left, but going to the right it becomes negative. I hope you understand that. Now subtracting that, we have x squared minus 20x equals to minus 84. Now we move on to solving that. You move 84 minus 84 back to the left hand side. It becomes this equation: x squared minus 20x plus 84 equals to 0. That gives us our quadratic equation. Now how do we solve this quadratic equation? We're going to use the method of factorization. We have a different methods of solving quadratic equation. We have factorization method, we have formula method, we have graphical method, and we have completing the square method. So in this solution, we're going to use factorization method. Now, how do you go about that? You look at the constant term. You know, the constant term is a term that does not have an unknown attached to it. You know, x in this expression, x here represents unknown. So 84 here is constant. You look for two numbers that their product will give you 84 and their sum will give you minus 20. Minus 20. Now, how do you get those two numbers? The two numbers are minus 6 and minus 14. Minus 6 and minus 14. How did we get these numbers? It is very simple. You pick your 84 and you run division for 84. Let's see how we can get that. Let's pick 84, which is the constant term. You pick the constant term and you run division for 84. What can cancel 84? 2 can go there, you have 42. 2 goes again, you have 21. 3 goes, you have 7. Now 7 goes, you have 1. Now amongst these numbers 2, 2, 3, and 7, you now see how you can group these factors 2, 2, 3, and 7 to 2 sets, such that when you multiply the 2 sets, you have 84. When you add the 2 sets, you have minus 20. Now let's look at what we can get from there. If we join 2 and 3, we have 6. And if we join 2 and 7, we have 14. We have 14 there. Now, 14 times 6 gives us 84. Now, let's look for a sign to put between 18 and 6. If we put minus sign for 14 and minus sign for 6, you have minus 4 minus 6 gives us minus 20. Also, minus 14 minus 6 gives us minus 20. Also, minus 14 times minus 6 gives us plus 84. You know, minus times minus is plus. I hope you understand that. The two numbers are minus 4 and minus 6 and minus 14. Minus 6 and minus 14. Now, if you add these two, if you join these two numbers together, in addition, you have minus 20. And if you multiply these two numbers, you have 84. That is how to get the two numbers. Just pick the constant term, which is this 84, and you run long division for it. Then you have your two numbers there. So the two numbers are minus 6. You have x squared. The whole essence of getting these two numbers is to replace them in place of this minus 20x. You have minus 6 here. You will come in place of that x and minus 14x. You know, by the time you simplify these two, minus 6x minus 14x is still minus 20x. So you remove this minus 20x and fix these two numbers that you have found. So you have here minus, you have x squared minus 6x minus 14x plus 84 equal to 0. When you are through with that, you now group them in twos in bracket. You bracket this and you also bracket that. Now what is common? What's the HCF? What's the highest common factor in this bracket? It is x. The highest common factor there is x. You now have x. Let me show you how to get that. For those that may not really know, the highest common factor, you take 6x and x squared to run long division for it. Now, dividing that, you now have what can cancel it? X can cancel it because you have x in x squared and x in 6x. X cancel it, you have x squared remaining here, and x goes here, you have just 6 remaining. Now, what's the highest common factor is x. What is left for x squared is just x. That's why you have x here outside. Now for x squared, you have just x remaining in the bracket. Now for 6x here, you have just 6 because you have just 6 remaining there when you find HCF of that. Now let's move on. We have x into bracket x minus 6. Now also find HCF of 14x and 84. What is common there? We have 14. When 14 is common, then what is left here? If you take out 14 from this bracket that you have here, you now have 14x divided by 14. You now have only x remaining. That's why you have only x in the bracket. Now we also pick 84 and divide it by 14. You have just 6 remaining there, equals to 0. You can see that these two brackets are equal. You pick one and write, and you pick the factors that you have outside there and write together. Now we have x minus 14 into bracket x minus 6 equal to 0. I hope you understand that. Now moving on there, we now have, you pick the first bracket, x minus 4 equal to 0, x minus 14 equal to 0, or x minus 6 equal to 0. When you move this minus 14 to the right hand side of this 0, it becomes positive 14. When you move this minus 6 to the right hand side of this 0, it becomes positive 6. Therefore, our x is equal to 14 or 6. I hope you understand that. That is very simple to understand. Now let's go to number 3 part of it. Number 3 part of it. How do we do that? Now let's see how we can get number 3a solution. Now we move on to number 3 solution there. How do we do that? Now we go to the equation.